it is very difficult to really determine exactly what will happen. But it has gone so far that I don't think that it can be, totally crushed. So what we will see in the future or immediate near future would be probably something positive. For the distant future, one really doesn't know how the revolution itself would evolve, whether or not this revolution will be able to dislodge the regime and create a truly democratic regime, or a certain segment of the regime will stay and to distort, in fact, the change that many people right now want. It's very hard to really determine right now.
What do you think?
Well, yes, as Asef said, the question of how other states in the region will be affected by this, in part, hinges on what the outcome in Egypt is. Do we end up? Is the movement repressed, which seems unlikely? It'll be totally repressed at this point, or do we end up with some sort of a hybrid, with sort of halfway toward a more open democratic system, but not all the way there? Or do they go all the way, and a year from now do we have something resembling a functioning democracy? So that remains to be seen. A lot of people have talked about dominoes. The domino effect is a popular metaphor. But the various states Arab states in the region are structured differently, have different social bases and different political systems, and those the Arab monarchies of the Gulf, the oil-producing states, are all sort of family-based systems that are constructed rather differently from the so-called republics that resulted from military revolutions going back 50 years in places like Egypt or once upon a time Iraq or Syria or Libya. So part of the effect of whatever happens in Egypt will depend upon the starting point in these other countries.
But I also would like to say that it is likely that if the Egyptian revolution succeeds, those regimes that do not want to see fundamental change in their countries might start to rethink about their polity, the way in which they treat people. So they might start introducing some reform in order to avoid the repetition of what happened in Tunisia and in Egypt. So that could be also something positive,
yes.
And that includes maybe the regimes run by royal families. But one has to see. But the pressure really should come from below. Otherwise, on their own, it is very unlikely to do it because it is not in their interests. But beyond that, I think fundamental really changes are happening within the societies. The sociological changes that these societies are becoming more and more urban, and they are becoming more and more literate, and you have a younger, educated younger generation, and of course the new technology opens new perspective for a lot of these people. And I think one can think that these would generate certain actors. This kind of changes would generate certain actors who want to see some significant changes in the society. And here comes really the pressure that might be exerted on the rulers to come up with some kind of solution, some kind of reform. And the revolutions in Egypt and Tunisia could be this, could trigger that, could make the incumbent regime to rethink about their authoritarian polity.